carded to come in 7 for Delhi, and I expect he probably would in that lineup. And maybe that's why, with a little bit of a tail, they have left out Rahane, who I don't know why he's playing T20 at all. I'll certainly say it this way: if you want someone to play like Ajinkya Rahane, you could probably find 20 guys in the Indian state leagues who could do it for like base price. But they have brought Steve Smith back in, and Steve Smith still questions about whether he's really that good in T20.
Such fine margins. You know, we're talking about a difference in strike rate of maybe 10, 15 per 100 balls. You know,
that does account for 20 runs in innings across the whole innings.
I mean, from my perspective, I think the moment that Steve Smith gets out of his own head sometimes, I think mechanically, I think the idea of looking at the mechanics and making sure that you're mechanically sound does wonders in Test cricket. But I don't think it might not really do you any favours in this form of the game.
Yeah.
And so as a result, if you become overly mechanically minded, then that just becomes worse.
T20 being more of a game of instinct.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Yeah.
You see the ball, hit the ball.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, Punjab still persisting with something I find very odd. So I thought, no, I don't want to leave the meeting. Something I find very odd, which is Chris Gayle at number 3. I'm putting you on the spot a bit here today, Al, but you know that's what we're paid the big bucks for.
Well, it is, and since my pay rise, I think that there is a certain amount that I think Gayle is just allows the innings to it just allows. I think it ends up being that it's a slightly better use of all 3 of the resources, which means that you might get a little bit less of Gayle, but a little bit more of the other 2 by way of contrast. It certainly doesn't seem to be something that Gayle is demonstratively unhappy about.
Well, he's scarcely demonstrative about anything, to be fair.
But doesn't he strike you though? If there was something that he really didn't like, that he could really make life awkward for you.
I think he might be at the stage. Maybe. He might be at the stage of his career though, where he just think, well, yeah, whatever, I'll do whatever you want, just as long as I can have a bat.
As the check clears, yeah,
and I can have a bat, I'll be fine. You know, put me anywhere, Gov. You know, I don't know.
I found it interesting that in this IPL season of lots of scores between 140 and 160, that it's been that it's not that there's a premium on boundaries, it's just been more difficult to hit them.
Well, I think we had a game where there wasn't a 6 hit until the 36th over of the game. That was one of the Delhi games.
And so if you put that much of a premium on one of your players being purely a boundary hitter, because Chris Gayle is not going to turn ones into twos.
He barely turns ones into ones.
Exactly. So at some point, how much of this season do you need to see before you turn around and you go, well, actually, the way that Chris Gayle bats, although the ceiling is so high, higher than any batsman maybe that there's ever been in T20 cricket, but the environment in which these conditions are being played might mean that he becomes more of a curse than a blessing.
Well, it can go either way. I mean, he is the archetype, the master of the slow start and the catch up, which is a high risk strategy.
Yeah,
it's a high risk strategy in T20. But if you look at the other West Indian player in the Punjab Kings lineup, a lot of excitement about Nicholas Pooran this season. I had a nibble on him 20-1 for man of the tournament on a recommendation, because the guy who gives me his recommendations really thinks this could be his year.
Yeah. Well, Leia asked the question: can Pooran get another duck and make it 3-3?
Well, good. Yeah, obvious curse going on there from my point of view, but these things happen.
Well, we know one of our compatriots within the guerrilla community is Mackle, who does the great work as part of the Caribbean Cricket podcast, and he has all the time in the world for the potential of Nicholas Pooran, and I'll happily bow to his is wider knowledge on that particular subject. I think that if you bat at a certain point in the order, you have to take certain. You can't just look at statistics for the sake of looking at statistics. There's an awful lot of, for example, that we looked at Glenn Maxwell today, and Glenn Maxwell scored his 8th IPL 50. Now, Glenn Maxwell's a better batsman than 8 IPL 50. Oh. And you look at it and you just go, how has that been? But if you come in at a point where you can't actually do enough to be able to create the statistics to make them measurable, then it becomes difficult. So,
well, it does. But I think how many of those 50s, like today, were 78 off 35 balls or something, exceptional like that.
Yeah,
Maxwell is the ultimate high variance player.
Yeah,
and if you pick him, you've got to let him. I mean, I think one of the teams he was at before, it might have been Delhi, just didn't realise that. You've got to let him go in his best position for 14 games, and if it works, you'll probably be in the top 2, and if it doesn't, never mind. Yeah,
I think that's a CSK have grasped that with Moeen Ali quicker than England have ever grasped that with Moeen Ali. To be honest, which is sad in a way from an England point of view.
There's a lot of competition in both England white ball sides. With the batting, and it's tough. It's easier for Moeen to get in the top 4 at CSK than it is with England at the moment. Easier for anyone to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to give anything away, as I've been told off before. But if I was Murray Walker at the moment, watching the Grand Prix at the moment, I'd be off college.
It's raining, isn't it?
So that's as much as I'll tell you.
Carnage.
Anyway,
focus. Let's let
focus.
I am as uninterested in professional sport generally as I've ever been in my life. Right now, through this lockdown, I know a lot of people have said, "Well, thank goodness the football's on, cricket's on, gives us something to watch." I've just gone the other way. I've just completely turned off it.
My relationship with professional football has soured over a number of years, but my relationship with other sports has sort of filled that void. So
the weird one for me is the football. I am so kind of disinterested in what's going on in England at the moment. It's not just because Arsenal are pretty shite, but I'm just totally. I couldn't tell you who's like winning what. I think City are top of the league, but
by miles.
Apart from that, I couldn't care. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the crowds not being there.
I think that's a lot of it. I had in the new year, January, I didn't look at it at all. Not even my team, not anybody. Now I sort of check in every couple of weeks. There's probably 3 or 4 games since I checked in on QPR. Last I saw, they were 13th, which is 2 places above usual. So all's well.
Well, there you go. that's progress, isn't it? Anyway.
But, I have been trying to pay some attention to this IPL. I don't have the Sky, but you get little 10-minute highlights on YouTube, which gives you a little flavour of each game.
It's been an interesting concept, Andy. I think over the last week has allowed people to ask the question about, well, how do you want to be entertained? None of us would want to spend our time commentating on a blowout. But if it is that you want the game to be close, how do you want the game to be close? Now, do you want the game to be 220 bats against 215, or like? But we've had a load of scores where it's like somewhere in the kind of like 150 bats against 145, 150 range. There's been tight finishes, and it's been interesting to look at how again this iteration of IPL has meant that Mumbai of the Indians have successfully defended 150 twice. Sunrisers Hyderabad have failed in 3 run chases, wasting 12 great overs of Rashid Khan. It's this sense of that there have been times where matches have got to like 3 overs left, 30 runs, 5 wickets left, where we would our mind through all of our history mechanically turns around and says, well, it's about 75-25% in the batting side's favour.
The Capitals.
And it's been about 50-50.
The Kings.
I think the important thing, first of all, is that it's close. People talk high scores and low scores. People say, a close, low-scoring game is great. There's nothing worse than someone just limping to 120 and the other team just gets them for one wicket in 14 overs. And again, you can also have a procession the other way, 205, and the team gets going and get rolled. But I think the important thing, and this is something T20 is very good at, is some ebb and flow, is some changes, and one team's winning and then very quickly the other team's winning, and how that momentum, I hate that word, but that impetus can go back and forwards quickly and can change 2 or 3 times in a game. Dackles just said this presentation seems to be going on for ages. Are you sure it's not on 2 different channels?
No, it's only on one channel.
But hang on, it's Kohli. You've got to have Kohli.
3 separate players apparently given Man of the Match awards, from what I can see.
but now it's Kohli time.
So,
especially seeing as he's won, he's got plenty to say, I'm sure.
As soon as there is live cricket that we are looking at, we will.
Let me just. The game has started.
Apparently, Chris Woakes has come into bowl. He's bowled to KL Rahul, and there is no run.
Well, someone needs a word with them on the TV. You can't do this. The game's over. We get all right for that.
Let's go.
Well,
we didn't. Love you, but we didn't pay to watch you talk.
This is not about Virat Kohli. This is not about the IPL. This is entirely about the names of the organisations that have paid hundreds of millions of dollars in order to have their names behind. This is about advertising.
All those cards behind the bowler, just checking with different channels. I think this is very strange. Al's going to take us over on commentary once we do get going. It is 0 for 3 so far. Chris Woakes with 3 dot balls. You can always make some commentary up if you like.
Yeah, and he's hit that for 8.
Out.
So either what has happened.
Let me see if we can find some.
So either what has happened is, just to jump in here, either what's happened is that someone hasn't switched the feed over at the host broadcaster, or someone at Sky hasn't switched the feed over.
Is Twitter have anything to say about this, Misters?
No, I think everyone's just having to deal with it the same way that we are.
Well, they're all just waiting for us, aren't they?
I'm just checking that it's not just us for any reason.
There's nothing.
The third ball was full, just outside off stump, driven back to the bowler on the bounce. Right, Knuckle, I need you ready for a jingle. Woakes has bowled the fourth ball to Rahul, and that's been hit away for 4 runs.
We could do some jingles while racing, so at least we go straight in.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Yes, Warren, really selling sports commentary, guys.
Yeah, that's great. So Punjab are off the mark there. They're 4 for no wicket after 4 balls of this first Chris Woakes over.
I think Al's doing brilliantly, seeing as we're commentating on a sport we can't see.
Okay, that 5th ball of the over, good length, some shape. Woakes gets that shape away from off stump, but that is able to be punched on the rise, but it's stopped at extra cover. Last ball of the over, slips move down, short of a length, onto off stump. Rahul's closed the face too soon and gets a leading edge down to 3rd man, so Rahul will keep the strike as at the end of this first over. The Punjab Kings are 5 for no wicket. Nestle boy, what have we got on social media?
Not a lot really at the moment. Hang on, here a couple are coming through. Warren's watching on Hotstar, and
so he can do some commentary for us. Yeah.
Sally 56 watching in Australia from the first ball. Hombre Nuevo
Ladies and gentlemen,
is saying
good evening
Kohli's
to you
flexing
all
his
for
media
this
muscles
T20
here. They don't care.
between
Stop the interview to
Punjab
risk his wrath.
and the Capitals.
I think it's more to do with somebody not flicking a switch.
Good evening, Slats.
As
Well,
Nate
you've
said.
got to be careful. There was a year or two ago now. You have these ball-by-ball sites, and one poor guy just nipped off for a bathroom break and missed one ball and copied in what the other site said about the ball and was somehow caught and fired for sort of plagiarising. So
It's going to be Merawala who's going to bowl the second over. Rahul's going to be on strike. It's a good length ball, pitched up, and Rahul has punched that ball through cover on the up, and that's gone for another 4 runs.
Merawala from Baroda, second highest wicket taker, took 15 in just 8 games. Now he's with the Capitals.
Merawala's into Rahul again, and that's been played away for a single, and that's going to bring Agarwal onto strike for his first ball of the innings.
Because lately Indian openers have been crapping, so drop them all. Pick Mayank,
I do apologise. That run to Rahul, I thought that it had just beaten Smith's dive, but Smith has really kind of palmed it round the post, and
Fine, I hear, says Leia. Luckily, the bumbling arse clown in 10 Downing Street currently has more important things to do than crack down on the internet piracy. Host broadcaster has switched, says Ravinair.
well, we're still looking at not very much. I went out to watch a game of cricket for an hour yesterday. I must say it was very pleasant.
how was it actually seeing live sport, Andy?
It was nice. It was nice. Well, actually, a team I previously played for was playing at my local team, who I'm not involved, my local club I'm not involved with, but there are a few friends of mine playing for the opposition. I went up and said hello and watched them bat for a bit. It was very nice.
So the 4th ball of the over from Agarwal, and that's been hit towards cover, and there's been a misfield at cover, and that's going to roll through to the boundary for 4 runs. And also I can hear that the siren's gone off, so that's going to be a front foot no ball. So not only is it 4, but there's going to be a free hit to come as well.
Over the line!
I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
Let's see what Merawala does with this extra ball that he's got to bowl. And he's bowling into Agarwal now, and Agarwal's hit that right back over his head, and that's going to clear the boundary, and that's gone for 6 runs. Maximum punishment for overstepping the line. Mayank's got really well there. He's cleared his front foot and be able to get that one underneath the ball, and to be able to lift that right the way over the bowler's head.
Well, various people around the world seem to be having it. Jersey Oaks got the cricket. Back from the pub, they had the GP on. Where did Murray Walker go? They kept crashing, so it almost got interesting, he said.
Delhi
Fifth ball of the over
and this is James
is
Taylor.
some shape in towards the off stump, and that's driven straight back to the bowler. A little bit of a frustrated throw back at the stumps there by the bowler, maybe releasing a little bit some of the frustration from overstepping the mark and having been hit for 6. Just one ball left to go of this second over, and Punjab are 21 for no wicket.
Where Murray Walker has gone is very much dependent on your religious beliefs.
Going to bat first, a bit of a surprise call.
Good luck, Murray Walker.
He was a top man.
Here comes the last ball of the over. Merriwall is in, and that's been hit a beautiful cover drive, and there'll be no stopping that, and that's gone all the way for 4 runs.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
So maybe that might be the last we'll see of Merriwalla for a while. He's 20 runs coming off that one over of his.
C being used very loosely.
Yeah. Agarwal.
We can't do this indefinitely. What on earth is going on at Sky?
Don't worry about it. Agarwal is 14 not out. Rahul is 10. Andy, it will all be fine. Everything is gravy.
Oh, I think we're here. Here we are.
Yeah, that's that last cover drive.
Promised and delivered.
There you go, you see? It's all fine.
We have cricket to watch, folks. We have cricket to watch.
And we can see Lukman Merriwala wishing that we didn't.
Rashad Pant says, I blame myself. So Woakes is in for the second ball of his second over, and that's pushed towards cover. A diving stop at the covers there, and there'll be no run. 25 for no wicket after 2.2 overs as Chris Woakes and his manly beard stride back to
it's a good beard, isn't it?
It's a good beard. You wouldn't think that he's the type of person who would be able to grow a good beard, but there it is.
Well, I certainly can't speak from any position of authority with that. I think it would take me the rest of my life to grow a beard, however long that is.
You're one of the few guys I know that doesn't have facial hair these days.
Woakes is in again, and that's too wide outside off stump, and it invites Rahul to cut. He does cut, but there's a deep cover there. It finds him with an erring accuracy, but there'll be a single taken. The first single of the over, 26 for no wicket. Woakes with tidy figures of 0 for 6 in 1.5 overs, all the damage being done at the other end.
Well, by the other batsmen as well. We've had 2 games so far. Woakes to Rahul and what's his name?
Agarwal.
How could we forget to know the bowler?
Merriwalla.
Merriwalla to Agarwal at the other end, but now Woakes to Agarwal.
And that's short and on leg stump, and Mayank has pulled that ball behind square on the leg side, and no one is close to that delivery, and that's gone all the way for 4.
Well, that was just a bad ball. Just help yourself on that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all for this T20
Whilst he has the pace to shape the ball away, he just doesn't really have the pace to trouble too many batsmen on these sorts of surfaces with short pitch deliveries.
No, there was just no real venom or life in that one. Barely.
It's just not his ball, and that's again on the arse, and that's beaten a short fine leg. Poor field placement. Poor lines, legs, poor bowling.
A bit of a surprise call.
Consecutive 4s.
Man, I think it's his birthday. 22 off 7. Going off like Bairstow did yesterday.
Absolutely right. Just 2 right on his arse, and he's managed to turn them into 8 runs.
Didn't even get much of that one. Just knocked it off his glove.
Just enough. Or you haven't got it's the chances of stopping the ball with that short fine leg. They're so fine. That is again down leg side. Strangled appeal by Chris Woakes. I think that's really going down leg side. And I think they'll come through for a leg by. Yes, they will. As the ball went no more than 10 yards square on the leg side. That brings us to the end of the over. Good start for Punjab. They're 35 for no wicket after 3 overs.
Start.
Nestle boy, what we got?
Stephen Kelp has joined us on YouTube, says afternoon gents. We've got various people watching on Cricket Tracker India. Ravikant Ruffy, Hindu, Adi and that. Manish Kumar, Jiju Raj, Mandel, Monser, Akatar, Kartik Sakar. You're all very welcome.
You are indeed.
We can do it properly now that we can see what's happening.
We did it half properly before.
You did brilliantly.
The worst thing about it is the fact that you'll see that it's no different whether I can see the ball or not.
Yes, that's the rod you're making for your own back there.
Yeah. Sorry about what's to come then, folks.
What's to come being Chris Gayle.
Chris Gale's just
looking
Merriwell is going to
unusually
continue.
Waiting to bat.
Merriwell is going to continue the definition of optimistic captaincy, and that ball's just pushed by Mayank through towards extra cover, but there'll be a running stop, and there'll be, thankfully from Merriweller's point of view, a dot ball.
It's brave captaincy, sticking to your guns there, not being too reactive to one over. Obviously, it could go either way.
I was curious about this with the first game, with what happened with Kolkata, because they had such a great start, getting RCB down to 9 for 2. As that's too wide outside, Mayank's off stumpy flicks the ball wristily behind square on the offside, and they'll come back for a well-run 2.
Better throw might have been interesting though.
Pant had to move no more than it didn't have to move a pace, but had to move his entire body to his left, and that really was enough to make sure that they were safe. As we're looking at some graphics about where Merriweller bowled his first over, left arm over the wicket, pushing the ball across.
Didn't seem to be getting any in swing, so it seemed a bit. I know it. You see all 6 balls in a row, but it did seem a bit routine and predictable.
And that is tucked up on Mayank's leg stump, and he has again turned this ball away, and it's beat the short fine leg fielder, and that will again go for 4 runs.
But that's what happens when you go too far the other way.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
So
the real issue here
isn't there, really.
Yeah, the real issue here is that he just seems to be bowling at a consistent, hittable pace without moving the ball, and that's a recipe for going on for a lot of runs.
Yes,
at any stage of the innings.
It'll be interesting what he does now to try it. Instead of deviating in line, let's deviate in pace and length.
You would think so, yes. But maybe the batsman will be one ahead of him, expecting that.
Yeah. So let's see what he does now. Outside off stump, and Mayank has pushed that ball to one of the deep fielders. The 2 deep fielders are deep square leg and deep cover, and there will be a single that'll bring Rahul onto strike. He's 11 off 11. The damage really being done by Agarwal.
Well, it is his debut, as Knackle tells us, and as often happens in the IPL, quite a late debut, 29 years old, but did well in the state trophy. And often the teams will do this, pick someone up cheaply and give them a go when they're missing a player or 2.
Absolutely. So let's see how Merriwell bowls this over. And that is beaten Rahul's outside edge. That's the one that just kind of floating across him, bit more pitched up, just in that sort of 5th, 6th stump region. He's brought Rahul forward and he's beaten him all ends up there. That's a great delivery.
That was very good, and if he now gets out of this over with 7 or 8 runs, he'll be feeling a lot better, and he'll be happy that his captain had that faith.
But it's the typical left arm to right hand batsman line, pushing the ball
just
across.
Held its line a little bit.
Just held its line, like you said. Again, pitched up,
done.
just outside off stump. No problems with that last delivery. Just hit by Rahul, but he's on the run, and a half stop by Steve Smith at mid-off will limit everything to a single, and that brings us to the end of the 4th over. A much better over. A much better over there from Merriweller. It won't look necessarily great with the figures, but confidence boosting for hopefully the 2 overs that he's got left to come in the innings. Nestle boy.
Warren said, in quotes, Merriweller, are you David Willey in disguise?
Now David Willey has bowled quite well for Yorkshire today. I
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all for this 2020 match between Punjab and the Capitals. I'm Michael Slater, and this is Mel Jones.
Hey Slats, we're nearly ready to get things started here. Gorgeous, clear weather, and no threat of rain. Good bowling conditions first up, so I have no doubt the captain that wins this toss will be sending the other team into bat.
Let's hope this match is as close as it is on paper. Over now to the captains for the toss. Not sure what was running through the captain's mind here. This pitch will only get easier to bat on. Why bat now?
Yeah, much better.
How's that?
Much better.
Yeah, that's a little bit better, yep.
Yeah.
Here comes Ashwin again. Characteristic loop of his arm. It's in much the same place. This one is more elegantly pushed up to long on by Mayank for a single.
Does most of his bowling in the IPL in the power play and in sort of the early middle stages of the innings. I've seen him bowl 3 overs in the power play thus far, and I'm certain that if Chris Gayle were opening, Ashwin would have bowled the first over to him.
Most likely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing Gayle coming in the 7th, 8th, 9th over. Although, as you said, Knuckle, he did bat 3 last year. Ashwin again from wider of the crease, and that does give a bit of width, but Rahul couldn't beat backward point on that occasion, and there's no run. He'll feel he could have done.
It's interesting from Ashwin, he sort of hid the ball behind his head in his run-up there.
A little bit. Bowlers with their little tricks. Ashwin has one particular trick that everyone hates. That one is punched up to wide. Log on, they're going to run the first one quickly, but it's still just the one.
And that was the arm ball bowled off the middle finger with the seam upright. Our Ashwin is one of the most, at times, overthinking cricketers, but he's never one to let batters settle against him. He's always got something up his sleeve, that supercomputer of a brain whirring overtime.
Absolutely, and of course the destroyed England in that test series with that brain having time to work. Again, he's a bit wider, again into leg stump, tapped into the leg side. Are they going to go? No, not that, just a single. So we've got one ball left in this over. That one's flown over Rishabh Pant's head. Poor piece of fielding. Even though he is small, Rishabh Pant should still put it in his gloves, I think. We'll have one more ball in this over.
That was the Karen ball, that last delivery.
Flicking that out of the front of his hand, just held up a little bit. Here he is to complete the over, and that's pushed out to cover, no run. 4 runs off the over, good one from Ashwin, 63 for none off 7.
So Leah is responding to your club's unauthorised survey. He says, well, I haven't seen most of my family for over a year. So even though I love cricket, I think I'd choose family. It's interesting, I think two conflicting emotions are being triggered during COVID. One is absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the other is familiarity breeds contempt. It depends entirely on your personal circumstances.
Whether you're with someone 100% of the time or away from someone 100% of the time. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have to say, I live with my partner, and I have been delighted by the fact that I've got company.
I'm fine without. Each different strokes for different folks.
I've been heard a lot of people talking about how great it has been to actually have more time with their children.
I was going to say that. I think people with young families, some of them have really benefited from it. I went up to the cricket centre for a hit in the week, and I was talking to the guy there, and he said he's actually finding it difficult to get back to work. After so much time at home, it's difficult for him to kind of stay on it all day at work. Readjustment for everyone. Got to change a bowl,
that
I think.
makes sense.
That one is swept out into the leg side and will be a single.
Yes, it's the other finger spinner in the attack. Came into the 11 for Delhi's last game and did quite well, did Lalit Yadav.
He hit 6 sixes in an over twice. Ooh. La 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 Lalit Yadav. 6 sixes in an over twice. La la la.
Akshar Patel, of course, still in isolation after having COVID, so there's a hole in the 11.
Clubbed into the gap on the onside. It was a short ball and got the treatment for 4.
It's me, Sanshi. It's me, Sanshi.
Can't be many people if it's 6 sixes and over twice.
Yeah,
I would imagine that's in some kind of list or professional cricket.
The good level, like high level club cricket, I think, but enough so the kind of thing that scouts look at. So
it's possibly not official professional cricket.
But a high enough level that people were paying attention.
Yeah. So it's something to put on your CV. Rahul, 29 off 29. Hasn't had to do much more than that, but I suggest it is time for him to step up a gear. That one is short. He again hasn't beaten point. In fact, almost carried maybe to Kagiso Rabada. His reaction suggests so. No run.
Lalit Yadav, did he bowl? No, he didn't bowl in his first game. This is only his second IPL game.
Ooh.
Just short of Kagiso Rabada.
He didn't really get forward though, Rabada. He might have done better with that. That's short and really should be put away, and it is. It's between the two fielders on the offside, and that'll be 4. Been short generally this over, and perhaps a bit fortunate to only be put away twice.
Yeah, indeed. It's done well for Delhi in the Syed Mushtaq Ali and Vijay Hazare trophies. Lalit Yadav has been picked up off the back of that. I mean, they picked him up last year actually at base price and have retained him after a good domestic season.
Well, working off the team sheet, I'd suggest he is the 6th bowler, maybe sharing that with Marcus Stoinis. That one is a full toss and it's punched up to long off. Should just be a single Chris Woakes with fielding.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I would think that's right. There's certainly 2 of Delhi's first choice attack not available. Anurag Nortje has only just cleared quarantine after what turned out to be a false positive.
Can happen.
Yeah. Well, I think he had a negative,
easy catch,
then another negative, then a positive, then another negative. And he's only just cleared quarantine this week, giving him another game off. Akshar Patel is out with COVID for a while, long enough that they've brought in a short-term COVID replacement of Delhi.
That's another very full ball, obviously trying to correct those mistakes. It's punched up to long on, be another single, 11 off the over, 74 for no wicket off 8. Good platform for Punjab.
So we are up to date with tweets. I'm not sure if Stephen Kelk's comment on YouTube was dealt with, where he says, I always think that people are talking about our Ashwin in the same way they're talking about our kid in Manchester.
Well, yeah, I mean, he should come and play for Lancashire for a season, really.
And on Crick Tracker, we have Govind Sani, Abhay Natraj, Golu Barman, Prakash Oid, Phupendra Sangata.
Is about to
Sunil
face their
Kumar
first
is with
ball.
us again. And Rohit Gupta. Hello to all of you, and thank you for just logging in and saying hello. And Najinder Badana's after Delhi as well.
Well, get to the foot of our stairs because our Ashwin's bowling again, and he's been clubbed high and straight. And is it far enough? It sure is.
Oh, I say, chaps, give me any lip.
Feels like Mayank hasn't had very much strike in the last
I was
little
just
while.
going to say, it's the one thing that Punjab haven't done very well is that Rahul's faced 32 balls and Mayank only 18. And Mayank's got significantly more runs, so...
Yeah, great shot. He's a very good straight hitter, Mayank Agarwal. He really loads up on that back foot. He gets very low under the ball, does Mayank Agarwal. Very powerful.
He did get onto that a little bit. Ashwin's come from wider and shorter. It's punched out to Shikhar at point, and there's no run. Yes, if you've got someone scoring a run of ball in the first half of the innings, it does help if that person takes less of the strike rather than more.
Yes.
Yeah, KR Rahul's had to sort of work... Sorry, Mayank Agarwal's had to work overtime, really.
He is on double time. That one's a little bit uppish. It's a poor piece of fielding. I think he probably got something on it because he's going to scamper back. No, he's not even going to do that. I'm not quite sure who that is, but it was a poor piece of fielding at short third man. Let it go through. I think he got a finger on it, and it escaped him on the second attempt as well at the boundary.
Lukman Meriwala
Yes, it
on
is.
IPL
Yeah.
debut didn't get down quickly enough. Gave himself a 30-yard sprint that he didn't need, which he failed to do anything useful with at the end of.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He made the considerable feat of misfielding the same ball twice.
Yeah, so 8 in one ball, which is pretty good.
Perfection.
It should have been 8. Shouldn't think Ashwin would be best pleased. Well, it can be a tough school all round making your IPL debut. Ashwin's in again, into middle stump, and Mayank just waits for it and taps it into the leg side. They get through for a single.
KR Rahul's been shown a lot more. I've actually been very impressed this year in the almost uniform intent shown by batting teams throughout the tournament. There's been very little trying to nudge and nurdle and trying to sort of consolidate their way out of a hole from any team, including KR Rahul, who I think you and I were both critical of last year in terms of his slowing down after the power play. But he has shown more intent in the first 2 games this season.
Ashwin again is outside of half of the bat from Rahul, goes out to cover for a single. In Delhi's previous game, they were in a bit of a hole, 4 or maybe 5 down quite early, and Rishabh Pant just said to hell with it and scored his 50 off 30 and really put his team in a winning position that he himself then dropped out of his keeping gloves.
Well, indeed, he got them a competitive score.
That is deservedly sent to the boundary.
And then, in fact, the Royals were in a very similar state, and then David Miller also scored quite quickly, although he did start a bit slower. That one's also played out to cover for a single. Paul Rifle taps his watch. Going to have a little time out. Have we got much on social media to keep us going, Jez?
Social media is completely up to date, but I wondered if it might be worth having a mention of our partners Woodstock Cricket.
Sure.
Yes, certainly. Sorry, go ahead. I've stepped on your... What I think I can do, I think we have a jingle for Woodstock Cricket. Yes, we do.
I came upon a cricketer who was looking.
He lets that go through to the keeper.
I said, where you gonna buy that? He said that I'm going to woodstock.co.uk. Gonna enter in this code for 15% off.
Oh, superb timing.
Radio, GC Radio, GC Radio, GC Radio.
You would not believe how expensive it was to get Joni Mitchell to write that for us.
Yes.
Oh, what's that thing? You can get celebrities to.
I don't think
Cameo.
Joni Mitchell. I would be very surprised if Joni Mitchell is on Cameo.
Shaka Khan's on Cameo.
Oh, that would be great. I'd love to get.
That'd be awesome. $400.
Oh, sure. Oh, quite right. Shaka Khan's a legend.
Excuse me for a moment. I have to shut the door, which the dog has left open.
Okay, well, if you want to send us $400 or any amount of money, you can do it via our Patreon page. And in fact, for $400, I'll sing you happy birthday. I'm not Shaka Khan, but, Shaka Khan. Gorilla Cricket, patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket, 1R, 2 Ls.
Yeah,
what else can the nice people do to send us money?
If you want to just do it as a one-off, PayPal. Our PayPal address is gorillacricket@gmail.com. Any amount of money is very welcome. You can tip us if you're watching us on Hot Mic, which a few people do every now and again. So there's plenty of ways to help us out, and also you can go to our shop if you go to Redbubble and search for Gorilla Cricket. We've got all sorts. We've got lots of fantastic designs. Virat Kohli design. We've got things like we've got the one that Jez is currently sitting in front of, the UFing Muppet. We've got Shit Gets Wickets. We've got There Is No Run. We've got We Get On Air Because of the Bear. Sometimes me, but because of the bear. I mean, he sets the thing up and I just press the buttons when I come into the weekend games. We've got lots of different designs, and you can get them on almost anything you care to name. Greetings cards, bedspreads, shower curtains, T-shirts of all various sizes. It's an absolute smorgasbord. So go to Redbubble and search for Gorilla Cricket. As after the timeout, Delhi make a change. They swap spin for pace, and this man who's been very impressive this year.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, Avesh Khan. Pull on the stumps, please. Pull us some maiden, please.
Couldn't have played that any better.
Well, Delhi would love a maiden at this point, or even something that only goes for 5 or 6, just to stem the flow. It's 87 for no wicket. I wonder if Punjab might be tempted to send Pooran in next at this point, but we'll wait and see. As in comes Avesh, right arm over. It's a full ball and maybe a little bit quicker than the batsman was expecting. He could only push it back towards the bowler for no run.
RCB did a remarkable thing earlier on. Very nearly had a maiden over in the 19th over of KKR's innings, which was quite a feat.
Yeah, Mohammed Siraj going for just 1 over in the 19th, bowling to Andre Russell. It's amazing how far he's come, given that he was a bit of a punchline in the IPL. Certainly the year before last, and a little bit last year as well. But he just kept bowling wide Yorkers, which Russell kept hitting to fielders and not running.
We really need to catch those.
Length ball from Avish, and again it's through Mayank a little bit quickly, or he made it look that way. It's through the keeper for no run.
Avish has been good so far this season. 5 wickets in 2 games, going under 7 and over. He is quick. He's got a lot about him. He's got strong action. Debuted in 2018 when he was a bit wild. Was Avish 2019? Sorry, the first year of Delhi Capitals being Delhi Capitals. He's a bit wild and all over the place. Fun to watch though. But he's obviously growing into himself a little bit.
That's shorter, and it's just helped over Rishabh Pant, which, as we said before, isn't very high. A little bit of glove, I think, from Mayank, and he will get 4. He'll get 50.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Fine knock by Mayank Agarwal. We've seen 3 50s today, and I think that's the fastest of the lot. 25 balls for Mayank Agarwal, 7 4s and 2 6s. Very impressive from the man who, until recently, was India's Test opener.
50 runs, you're 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, you're 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Shops that one down to third man. For some reason they've got 2. I thought that should have been just a single, but Ashwin down there, who was glaring at the fielder last over, obviously did something wrong himself, as often happens.
So maybe you can fill in a gap on my IPL history, Knuckle. We had a period when it wasn't covered in Australia, so I sort of went through a big gap. Are the Delhi Capitals the later iteration of the Deccan Chargers?
No, the Delhi Daredevils. They were before. Still right. Delhi. They just that one flicked over the leg side. Oh, the fielder seemed to bottle that a little bit. So Dhawan didn't think that was going to get to him. And he opted to let the ball bounce in front rather than go for it. Perhaps he was right. He's certainly closer to it than I am.
Shikhar, that one's a good fielder. He's taken a lot. He's taken, I think, 6 catches already in this tournament, and a couple of them very,
3
very
in the
good
last
ones.
game, yeah.
Very good ones. No, so the Deccan Chargers actually folded, and then a new team bought a new group bought the rights to the franchises, which became the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Delhi, it's the same group of people. They just changed the name and sort of rebranded from the Daredevils, who were a joke towards the end. and to the Capitals, and they've been very good in the last 3 years.
That did the trick. That one's edged back onto his pad. He goes for a run, he goes back. The bowler was in there, he didn't do the football, he picked up, flicked it in, missed anyway. And the event of all that was no run. Well, the Punjab Kings have had a slight rebrand and an upgrade, because they don't belong to Kings now, they are Kings.
Yes, indeed, they are not the 11 of the monarch. They are Punjab Kings, and they changed their badge. I like their kit better this year. I like the all red rather than the
just gold helmets. I mean, they're not super Kings, but who is?
Well, I prefer that they wore these grey trousers, and it looked very much like. Again, we were talking football. Remember Gabor Kirai, the former Crystal Palace goalkeeper?
Grotty sweatpants.
Yeah, that's what they looked like. They looked like bad grey sweatpants. But now, it's a very sort of RCB circa 2014 look with the red and gold, but it does look a lot better, I think.
I agree. Yeah, the grey was just awful.
You see club teams sometimes, in fact, at the club I was at, were skimped on the uniforms and only had the shirts with the white trousers. And if you're not going to do it properly, don't do it at all.
That looks awful when you've got someone wearing a coloured top with whites.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. Rabada in a resplendent blue with a red trim, back into the attack, and Mayank steps away, launches him over long off. 10 yards over, beautiful shot.
Just goes to show, even if you're one of the best bowlers in the world, the leading wicket taker in the tournament last year, if you go for the Yorker and end up bowling slot to someone who's in, you can go the distance. This looks a very good pitch for batting.
Looks decent, and as I say, I'm happy with my bet at the moment. Over 342 for the match. But stranger things can happen. Rabada's in again. That one's short, but that's just going to get the treatment over fine leg. And again, maybe the batsman just one step ahead in the game of rock, paper, scissors. Seemed to be waiting for that one. Helped it on its way for 6 more.
Yeah,
decent mask discipline from the Kings 11. What you call them, coterie.
Yeah, much better than the likes of Saurav Ganguly, who I don't think I've ever seen wearing his mask properly.
Yeah, it fits with everything we know about his character.
Great shot.
Breathtaking, says the screen, just like a bad mask. 106 for no wicket, Punjab, and wow, they're setting up for a big score here. That's again, it's shortish. He's just paddled around by Mayank, down to long leg, just the single. He's moved on to 66 off 30. Only halfway through the innings.
And that's what AB de Villiers was striking at earlier today. It was a fantastic exhibition from Maxwell and de Villiers. We've had a couple of all-star lineups. RCB against Delhi on opening night. Rabada playing in that first? No, Rabada wasn't playing in that first game, but we've had Bumrah bowling to Maxwell and de Villiers at one point.
Is Rabada, and that's also helped up, over long leg, over the side, over the advertising boards, and 6 more. And Kagiso Rabada getting
that's one
treatment.
For the highlights
that's
reel.
Rahul that time.
It was expensive the other day when he bowled the 19th over. He got hit for sort of a few boundaries. Class operator, but this is some serious treatment that Punjab are dishing out. It's good to see. It's good aggression and good intent, using the pace of Rabada to his disadvantage on what, as I say, looks a decent batting wicket.
Yeah, we've seen Woakes couldn't really bowl a short ball to any effect. Rabada the same. Smith, who looks very pale. The expression, well, at least I'm not captain, don't have to deal with this. That's on Rishabh Pant. And it's 113 for no wicket in the 11th over.
Gayle to come in next.
Well, on the card, Rabada's, what's he going to do this time? Goes for the Yorker into the pad. Certainly going down leg, but a dot ball, which is something he'll be very happy with. And he's just got one more ball to get out of this over.
Lots of love from Ravi Nair for the Joni Mitchell jingle. So it was worth the money.
So Rahul on strike, 41 of 36. He has allowed Mayank to catch up a bit in balls faced, which has helped the scoring rate. Another Yorker comes out slightly full, punched up to mid-off for a single. It's the end of the over, 114 for no wicket off 11.
So there's a special request from Leah for you, Knuckle. Can we please have a Knuckle and Pandy cameo account to sweeten the wait for Hendo's OnlyFans? She also says the successors to the Deccan Chargers and Sunrisers Hyderabad, in that they're based in Hyderabad, and says that they should have changed their name to Punjab Akalis, in my opinion. I don't know what Akalis mean.
Okay, that's one you'll have to explain to us. My tweeter there. The only thing I can remember about the Deccan Chargers is they had this kind of jingle that they played constantly that went, "Go Chargers, go Chargers, go." And it just gets stuck in your head.
Remember, they did win an IPL, the Deccan Chargers. They won the one that was in South Africa in 2009. I believe Rohit Sharma has taken a couple of IPL hat-tricks for the Deccan Chargers.
For them?
Yeah.
Did he play for Deccan Chargers? Well, there you go.
Yeah, way back in the early days.
Avesh is going to continue. Length ball, and it's really clogged away from Calvert Hilton. Is that a catch? No. Diving stop. And the ball's run on another 20 yards. Prithvi Shaw. Great effort there, I think. They've gone through for two. He's got a knock on his finger for his trouble, but almost had that one.
Yeah, I think that's both a dropped catch and a very good save of 2 runs. That would have been an absolute flyer. He's not a tall man, Prithvi Shaw. He's probably about 5'6" or so. Used to be not particularly athletic, but he's done some fitness work.
Quite flat. Now you look at it, he's gone with one hand without really moving his feet. So actually, he could have tried with both hands there, but not that I would have just waved that one through. But we're here to call it by professional standards. Avesh is in again. It's a Yorker, well bowled. He gets a hand on it, and still goes through to mid-off. Pick up a single.
The right arm pace bowler.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the slow-mo probably doesn't do Prithvi Shaw any favours there. He did get most of it handed to him. A very good effort from, as I say, someone who during the Australia tour, even not that long ago, was really sort of flapping at ball. He's done a lot of fitness work in the last few months, and had one of the all-time great List A domestic seasons, reeling off hundreds for fun for Mumbai, and has started this tournament reasonably well.
I think we can kindly say he's not a naturally athletic build. That's a slower Yorker. It's been chopped down to third man. We'll get a single. That was quite well bowled. And Avesh has managed 9 balls for 11 in the midst of all this, which isn't bad.
They do have the other bowling option, Marcus Stoinis, as you say, who was quite good for Delhi last year, often at the death. Remember him actually against Punjab last year, when Punjab got themselves into that ridiculous situation where they somehow failed to score 1 run off 3 balls. But Stoinis has not been very good with the ball this season.
He's not the kind of bowler I'd turn to in this situation. I think you've just got to give it your best 5 bowlers and get them to do their best. Captain's sometimes a bit too quick to change the bowling just because runs are being scored. Avesh is in again. Again, he's done well with that Yorker. It's punched out towards the sweeper. Round picks it up. Good throw, good bit of fielding. Kept them to 1.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 6 bowling options even without Stoinis, so they've got plenty of options. Of course, you've got the potential of Stephen Smith with his comedy leg breaks.
I would certainly have him as the 8th bowler in this lineup. When was the last time he turned his arm over? 3 wickets at Lords, I suppose. He'll dine off.
I think Smith might have bowled a little bit on Australia's tour, on India's tour of Australia, just for a few overs here or there.
I think he did.
That's well bowled. Quicker. Goes to Avesh is one who can get it through at shoulder height. And that goes through the keeper for no run. And he's done well, Avesh.
That's quite a good over.
Having some comment from South Africa about Rabada. Josie Oak reckons he's overrated.
Oh, come on.
And Chris TV says, I don't think I've ever seen Rabada treated like that.
It was brutal. I mean, just the little step and loft over mid-off was pretty impressive. Really,
I think the batsman correctly anticipated what ball Rabada was going to bowl. Rabada put it right in the slot for him.
I think that's probably right, but still
I'm not taking anything away. That's part of the skill. That's well bowled again by Avesh. Wide Yorker, punched out to the sweeper, will be a single. 6 off the over, and a bit of respite, but nonetheless, it's 120 for naught off 12.
Warren says, are we back to cigarette company sponsorship of short form cricket? Reminds me of the US Navy tagline, accelerate your life.
And that's
maybe
4.
not. Farong says, if the Bear was calling this game, Andy, then your bet could be in doubt. Looking good at present.
Sure, yeah. Good job he isn't.
Perhaps Punjab will make 200 and the Delhi Capitals get rolled for 110. And Ravi explains to us that Akali is a particularly militant sect of Sikhism, suggesting the Punjab Kings should be called that. It's offensive to both parties.
Okay, sorry about that. We didn't know, but thank you for informing us.
Indeed. Speaking of that chant that got on your head,
4 runs.
I don't know if you've been watching any of the games that aren't covered by Guerrilla Cricket with the commentary on. I'm just appalled at the fact that they're continuing to do the ridiculous chants and DJs and stuff, notwithstanding the fact
I heard one on the highlights the other day. They're doing these chants that no crowd would ever do.
Yes, they're doing them like sort of bad facsimiles of English football chants, which I don't think I've ever heard an IPL crowd chant.
There was one in particular, I've never heard the crowd go, Rishabh, Pant, for example.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's... we don't have the audio, so I wonder if it's going, Look Man Meriwala.
Yeah, they're piped in on the telecast.
2 overs for 28 so far, most of the damage done in that first over. Tough one on debut, but he's gone round the wicket, and that's well bowled. The Yorker punched up to mid-off, and that's a dot ball.
He's got a little bit lucky there. He didn't quite nail the Yorker. That was hit very hard by Mayank Agarwal to Ripal Patel, who's on the field as a subfielder. Maybe Prithvi Shaw's
possibly
gone off for a little bit of attention on that hand. Will be important for him and Shikhar Dhawan to start well, as they have done previously. If what looks like a very good big score is going to be chased down by Delhi.
Certainly does. He's continuing around the wicket. Meriwala, that's a length ball, and Agarwal, I think, has only just managed to inside edge it into the leg side a little bit early on that one. Just a single.
We're at the stage now where you'd send in Nicholas Pooran next.
I would, yeah.
Bit expensive in
I certainly would consider that, or Deepak Hooda.
Yeah, Hooda started the tournament very well. Excellent in the first game. Relegating Pooran to not really having to do very much. I mean, people make a lot of the 2 ducks, but he's got 2 quick ducks. There are worse ways to fail.
As we said before the game, it's variance, and it'll happen. No one's going to score runs every game.
No, Glenn Maxwell didn't hit a 6 in the entirety of last year's IPL. Now look at him.
That's remarkable. He's got a little bit of a crown, Meriwala, a little bit of a bald spot. That one is clubbed down to backward point, and they'll go through for a single.
Talking about
strike rate. There's nothing wrong with that, do we?
Nothing wrong with that at all. No, it wasn't said in a derogatory way.
No, it's thinning a little bit at the front. You can see the hairline. I mean, probably a little bit unfair to say that you can see the hairline receding, but you know what I mean. Just quietly, KL Rahul 47 of 41 balls, starting to eat up time.
He is a little bit, yes.
Yes, he's not meeting the Andy Ward quotient, I'm afraid.
Well, he's got some time to catch up. Mayank's on strike at the moment, and this could be a problem. It's gone high. I don't think it's gone far enough. There's a man underneath. It takes to catch. Shikhar Dhawan, another catch for him. Mayank, excellent innings, 69 of 36, and a debut wicket for Meriwala. Well done.
Yeah,
just to tell you what happened, it was another attempted wide Yorker, and Mayank scooped it up out towards deep point, but as Nakul said earlier, he does get underneath the ball a little bit sometimes. He was reaching for that one. He couldn't get the distance.
I mean, I like Mayank Agarwal sort of setting up low, and I think it gives him a great base to work from, and he tried to go up and over point, just didn't quite get enough on it, and Delhi's designated catcher Shikhar Dhawan takes the catch. He's very calm under the high ball, is Shikhar Dhawan. Good innings though from Mayank Agarwal. What did he hit in those 69 of 36 balls? 7-4.
I think it is going to be Deepak Hooda.
7 4s and
his
4
helmet
6s.
On. No, he's putting his helmet on next, because now it's Chris Gayle. Now surely Chris Gayle is not going to score 5 or 12 balls.
You know he's a pretty shit human being.
Okay.
And that's 4.
I like that.
Yeah,
I haven't heard.
I wonder if he was just caught being a bit shit on camera, and 100 of them do the same things off. But anyway, it was his option not to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can always not. There is an interview with a Times journalist that is really quite hard to read the transcript of. One of the all-time great T20 batters.
Recently on Twitter, can you separate the artist from the art, or is this, in this case, the sportsman from the sport? Anyway, he's not on strike. The batsman crossed, and it could work if Gayle just comes out and swings. He could get 3 or 4 sixes very quickly. But Rahul's back on strike, and surely now he does need to step up the gear. It's a Yorker, and it's pushed up towards mid-off, beats the shortish mid-off, and Gayle lumbers through for a single from the non-striker's end.
It was well bowled by Lukman Meriwala to get the wicket. He bowled from that angle from left arm of the round the wicket, and it meant that Mayank Agarwal didn't have quite enough room to clear his front leg and go over the offside, and he had to do all of the work with his hands to dig it out. And AB de Villiers can do that, but it's a pretty high tariff manoeuvre that he was trying to pull off.
Yes, it is. And so we will have a change after this one, I think. 7 overs to go, and the Punjab Kings, I don't know why they're down as PBKS.
Well, that's what the official acronym or shortening to is, which doesn't really make any sense, as it.
No, Delhi Capitals aren't DICS,
no, but
I suppose they wouldn't want to be.
I think using PK would be politically sensitive.
Maybe they didn't want to give free advertising to PK.
Gayle pushes that one into the offside, out to the sweeper for a single. End of the over, 124 for 1, and we'll have a handover for the rest of this innings.
And Nestlers, you don't want to come on, do you? Not
right
now.
It's okay. It's settled down. I know what's going to happen.
And yes, trying not to spoil Al's enjoyment of the F1 will be Nestle Boy. We'll be taking you through the last 6 overs, at which point we find the Punjab Kings having been put into bat by the Delhi Capitals, 124 for 1 after 13 overs, with KL Rahul 48 not out of 42 and needs to put the hammer down, as we've been saying. Chris Gayle new to the crease, 1 off 1, set up by a fantastic innings from Mayank Agarwal, 69 off 36 balls, 7 fours and 4 sixes, caught at deep point by who else? Shikhar Dhawan, that's his 7th catch in 3 games, by Lukman Meriwala on IPL debut. We will have a change at the other end. Avesh Khan's out of the attack after 2 good overs, 2 overs number 13, and we talked about the matchup of Ashwin to Gayle. It is going to happen. He's had a lot of success against Chris Gayle as our Ashwin over the years in IPL cricket. This is outside off stump, and Gayle runs it off the outside part of the bat to Chris Woakes at short third man. They come through for 1, and we'll jingle up with a bit of echo and the bunny men.
Faced up against the spin, try to cover drive and never go again. I'm out LB to Ashwin.
Seeing it on screen there, he's got him out 5 times in the IPL. Ashwin has to Gayle, and Gale's going well under a run of ball against him. One of the better known matchups in the IPL over the years. This is outside off stump from Ashwin to KL Rahul, who cuts to backward point. There is no run. Ashwin goes much wider on the crease this time. Might have bowled that as a leg break outside off stump, and Rahul goes on the back foot and punches down to long on. It's gone through his box of tricks today, Ashwin. Barely bowled an off break.
Question from Jersey Oak: is Chris Gayle still banned from the Big Bash?
I think he was for a while after that infamous on-field interview a few years ago. Didn't really fit with their family-friendly model. Although there's always a certain amount of sort of picking and choosing with that, but certainly it wasn't a good look. Gayle turns this into the onside. They come through for a single.
All very easy, just don't be a dick.
Well, yes, that's as we were saying. You can always not.
Yes, really not.
Fairly traditional T20 field with backward point, short third man, short fine leg, and cover. It does not look particularly natural when Ashwin goes wide of the crease. He sort of gets to the crease and then jumps, skitters wide at the last minute. This is outside off stump, a little bit slower. Rahul pushes to deep point, goes through for 50, but it's 50 or 45 balls, which, given the start that Punjab have been given with the KL Rahul, with the Mayank going so well at the other end, and given the batting resources to come, it's slightly underwhelming, to be honest. 6 fours and a 6. in that, as Ashwin is in round the wicket to go, goes much more round arm this time, really is going through his box of tricks, and Gayle pushes for no runs. Ashwin sneaking through and over for 4 runs there, tidy for him and Delhi Capitals, but still very well set, the Punjab Kings. They're 128 for 1 with 6 overs remaining. Timeout.
It's Woodstock cricket back to timeout. There was some discussion between Leia and Ravi re 6, which has been resolved, and everyone's happy now. Farong tells us, says that considering PBKS got pumped by CSK, they're sending their NRR to minus 0.909. They will be hoping, of course, to win, to post over 180 and restrict DC to 150.
Yeah, the net run rate last year, 3rd to 8th, was separated by 2 points. So net run rate is going to be important, and that was an absolute shellacking that they took on Thursday, wasn't it? No, Friday, in fact, at the hands of the Chennai Super Kings. Deepak Chahar taking 4 wickets in the power play and chasing down a target of 107 with about 4 overs to spare.
Got some names to read out for you on Crick Tracker. Sanjay Kumar Bali says hi. Shakir Hussain sends us a heart. Surrender Storat says nice.
Are they from Jazz Club?
Great.
Really good.
I'm on bass and Thane Boys on guitar. Which sent the whole village a flutter when that happened back in the 90s when I was there.
Fielder out in the deep.
We were famous for 5 minutes.
Halcyon days. Halcyon.
Oh, you know, isn't it? Marvellous.
What did it worse?
It was a fine show.
It was.
The quality, the level of writing, and the, was fantastic.
I saw sort of a retrospective about it, and the things that they did in sort of tribute to Caroline Ahern were heartbreaking.
Yeah, because she was fantastic, wasn't she?
She's genius.
Yeah, the bit where she was the cash out, in the supermarket, just going through everyone's purchases. Meal for one or lonely are you? All that kind of stuff. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And the bit with Roy when she was like, I'd said that, Roy, didn't I? He said that, that couple on the train and that. It was fantastic.
Yeah. All sorts happening in the county championship, by the way. Essex, having been bowled out for 96 in their first innings, have beaten Durham by 44 runs, thanks to who else? Simon Harmer. Absolutely remarkable first couple of rounds of the county championship. Already cricket is delivering the world over, and we've seen some serious drama in the IPL. Ashwin is done with his day with the ball. Number 28 off his 4, which in the context of a game where Punjab Kings are 128 for 1 after 14 overs represents a decent day's work for the highly experienced off spinner. It is going to be pace and right arm pace into the attack. So Meribala is being whipped out of the attack. He's got 1 over left. On comes this man who has 2, and he's bowled his 2 very well. None overs, 4 overs, 2 overs rather, none for 13.
Hello my baby, hello my honey, hello Avesh Khan. Fall on the stumps please, bowl us a maiden please.
So there's 2 overs of Woakes, 2 overs of Avesh,
2 overs of Rabada.
I was going to say, I think given the way that Rabada got roughed up, I think I would have 1 over of Marawala and 1 over of Rabada.
Well, I think it would be a massive call to do that. Also, the man who took him apart in that over, Mayank Agarwal, is no longer at the crease.
Yeah, I suppose you could bowl him 1 over and then see how that over went, I guess.
Maybe.
One with an option of 1.
Avesh in right arm over the wicket to KL Rahul. 50 of 45 balls. Drives this handsomely, but it's dropped at cover. Marcus Stoinis, I thought he had it. It was hit very hard, and Stoinis had to sort of collapse around the ball, but it squirted through his hands, and that is a regulation chance gone a-begging. There is no run, but unfortunately for the Delhi Capitals, there is no wicket either.
They've been really sloppy in the field today. Really sloppy.
Yeah, we've seen some fielding errors. We saw Prithvi drop a much harder catch, which would have been an absolute flyer. But for a fielder of Marcus Stoinis' quality, that was poor, and some dodgy ground fielding as well.
Yeah, there's been a bit of Ole ground fielding, but that's you've just got to. You want to win the IPL, got to take those.
Yeah, straight at him. Should have been held. Avesh in full outside off stump. Rahul hammers this over the offside. That's a brilliant shot. I've been a little bit critical of him in the last few overs, but that's a fantastic shot. Avesh going for the Yorker, missing his length, and it's driven on the up for a very flat 6 over deep point by KL Rahul. Great shot. Going for the Yorker, missed his length. Rahul went deep in the crease. It ended up slot.
It just goes to show the power that's in the bottom of the bat. I mean, I'd be fascinated to get an interview with the guy who makes the bats at.
Well, and in the bottom hand as well. That was that little punch of the bottom hand to get the extra power and elevation into it. The next one is also punched powerfully with the bottom hand down to long on. Better full delivery this time from Avesh Khan, closer to the Yorker. And yes, they have come through for his single. Chris Gayle now onto strike.
Yeah, he's not missed it by much, but in the same way that we saw Bhuvi Kumar miss 2 to Kieran Pollard, and they both went for 6. You just can't. You've got no margin for error.
No, indeed, and I think we certainly saw last year that it was probably slightly better to miss your Yorker long and it end up as a full toss than for it to end up as a half volley. This is full outside off stump, driven by Gayle. Doesn't time it very well. Squirts off the outside part of the bat to backward point the man on the boundary, and they come through for a single. So decent comeback from Avesh Khan. He's got clear plans. He's going to try and bowl full, which is fair enough.
No, I was surprised when he was included in the first game, and I thought that when Rabada would come back into the side and Norcha, I know they're kind of giving Norcha one more game, that he would be the one to drop to the sidelines, but I think he's made that a really difficult decision going forward.
He has indeed. Ishant Sharma also not available, so there's Delhi getting a lot out of their so-called change bowlers. But I quite liked Avesh Khan when I first saw him. He was fun. He wasn't always didn't quite know where the ball was going, but he's quick. There's 3 men back on the offside, so it is going to be the full delivery outside off stump. That's a great shot from KL Rahul. It ended up as a full toss. It wasn't quite as wide as Avesh wanted it to, and Rahul's just opened the face and got it between the 2 men up in the ring, but at short third man, got it between them down to the third man boundary, the only part of the offside that wasn't protected, for 4. And over, but still a potentially big over for him and the Punjab Kings. Now one of the men in the offside has come up to cover, and an extra man's gone back on the leg side. It's a short ball from Avesh Khan. I think he's got the line right. KL Rahul is querying with the square leg umpire whether it's too high over him, and I think querying with the standing umpire if it's too far down the leg side, but neither. Good finish to the over from Avesh Khan, but an expensive one nonetheless. 12 runs off the over. After 15 overs, Punjab Kings are 140 for 1. If they don't get north of 200 here, Nestlers, this is a real waste.
It is. You'd think that... what was the score? We got 200 in the first game, didn't we?
Yep.
204 for 4, yes. The highest of the tournament so far was by the Punjab Kings against the Rajasthan Royals, wasn't it? Here at the Wankhede Stadium earlier in the tournament. That brilliant 100 in fact, from Sanju Samson nearly getting Rajasthan over the line. I think that was 220 maybe. Let's have a look at the rundown. Yes, it was 221 is the highest score in the tournament so far. It is going to be Kagiso Rabada trying to blast out Chris Gayle early doors. It's full outside off stump, and Rabada pushes to Stephen Smith at mid-off. They come through for a single, so Ashwin is done. This man is back.
He's a high roller, rock and roller, scariest, deadliest, killing this bowler. He can sink your oats like the Spanish Armada. No one faster, no one harder. What's his name? What's his name? Tell me, what's his name? KG. Rabada.
He is rapid, but the faster he's bowled it, the quicker it's gone to the boundary so far for him.
Yeah, indeed. He was taken apart by Mayank Agarwal. There's two men back in front of square on the offside. Rabada into Rahul. It's length. He swings into the onside. He's not got all of this. And this time Marcus Stoinis does take the catch. A much harder one than the one he dropped. Incidentally, had a fair bit of ground to make up to his left and coming in off the rope. And he takes a smart catch. KL Rahul, trying to pick up the pace quite rightly, is gone for 61 off 51 balls, 7 fours and 2 sixes. KG Rabada is back with a wicket, and the Punjab Kings are 141 for 2.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
Funny how it goes. But you drop a sitter and then take a much more difficult catch about 5 minutes later, isn't it?
He probably hasn't thought too much about it, which is probably the thing that makes it.
It's the best way to be, yeah.
The difference. That might be, in some ways, a nice little blessing in disguise for Punjab.
Not going, 61 or 51?
Yeah, there's just been a feeling that he's been kind of slowing down a little bit. And
well, he
Hooda
picked up
and Pooran might be better suited for this stage of the innings.
Well, he picked up the pace in the last over or so post the
first Stoinis
post the timeout, yeah. Anyway, it is not going to be Nicholas Pooran. It is going to be the man who smashed a quick-fire 60 odd, to be fair, in the first game. Short ball hooked by Deepak Hooda. It's gone very high, but there's no one back at fine leg. So even if there had been a man back there, it wouldn't have mattered. But it's gone for 6. Good aggression first ball from Deepak Hooda. A little bit leg-sidey from Rabada, and Hooda just helped it on its way.
Too short.
Well, it's short on line is fine. Nothing wrong with that, but that was slightly offline, and it was put away quite nicely by Deepak Hooda.
He's moved very well inside the line. But I don't know. I just want, get the ball slightly fuller. Back of a length, by all means, but not that back of a length.
And certainly not leg-sidey with no one back at fine leg, but that wasn't where he was trying to bowl. I think it's fair. Goes fuller at the stumps. Hooda backs away to the onside, but wasn't able to get enough power on or elevation on the stroke, and it just runs down to long on off the inside half of the bat. Single taken. Gayle back on strike. 5 off 6.
Hooda doesn't look like he wants to hang about here, does it?
No, and why would you?
No, true. Yeah, I mean, Gayle's only faced 6 balls.
Yeah, and he's not looked to do an awful lot with any one of them apart from push them for singles. At this particular point in time, it's got to be about, Gayle's got to change his intent.
Yeah, I mean, this is not how he's been batting for a while. In fact, they came back for 2. Hooda backs away and tries to flay over the offside, comes off the outside edge, really, down to Ashwin on the third-man boundary. They'll come through for a single. Yes, went too quickly for them to pick up 2. 150 up, 1 ball left of the 16th over.
It was an overthrow from the
right.
Steve Smith.
So it went to Smith, and Smith fired the ball in, and Rishabh Pant just wasn't ready for the ball, and so it went kind of through Pant's defences, and I think they came back for the buzzer.
Not ideal. There's more sloppiness in the field. Gayle facing up to Rabada. Short ball. Gayle doesn't tend to attack the short balls early. He's waiting for one in his half. Good bowling by Rabada. Flies through to Rishabh Pant. There is no run. It's a very good over with a poor ball for 6, sort of thrown in the middle of it from a different over. Odd one. Happens sometimes. That is 10 runs off the over. Plus the wicket of KL Rahul. After 16, Punjab Kings, having been put in by the Delhi Capitals, are 150 for 2.
Leia says the only thing about shortening Punjabi Kings to PBKS is the fact that they don't use a consistent length of acronyms across the league. It's anywhere from 2 to 4 letters.
Yeah, quite right. They didn't want to use PK because I think that would be politically sensitive. Tends to be the,
how come?
It's the 2-letter acronym for Pakistan.
Oh,
but yes, taking the first and last letter of each word is a little bit inelegant.
Right, okay, I didn't realise it was like that.
We'll have a change of bowling. Avesh being his last over being saved, and this man with 2 overs left is going to come back into the attack. So presumably it will be this man, Chris Woakes, to bowl the 17th and 19th, Rabada to bowl the 18th, and then Avesh to finish off. Let's give a jingle for Christopher Roger Woakes.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan.
Maybe Woakes to bowl this, then Avesh, then Rabada to bowl the 19th, and Woakes to bowl the 20th. Something in that. But it should be those 3 to finish off from here, as Woakes is into Deepak Hooda. Not quite there for the big hit down the ground, and Hooda just takes a single to Lalit Yadav coming in off the mid-on boundary. They come through for a single. Chris Gayle, 5 off 7, needs to, as Al was saying, show some intent to hit a boundary. Oh dear, it's a no ball, so he's got a chance to show some intent off a free hit. Chris Woakes went several years without bowling a no ball for England in one-day international cricket, but he has, it looks like, overstepped.
Over the line! Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
Yeah, this automatic no ball being called by the third umpire thing is working well, as many of us who've been calling it for years thought it would. It's one of those innovations that they bring in, and you wonder why on earth did we wait so long?
Yep. Chris Gayle, get a wiggle on.
You're allowed to change the field, and with the batters having crossed. 3 men back on the onside and 2 men on the off, but Gale's got it wide enough, square enough rather, of Ajinkya Rahane, who's on as a sub-fielder for someone. He tries to get round from deep cover, but he doesn't make it, and Christopher Henry Gayle has his first boundary, his first 6 over deep point. Woakes going for the Yorker, getting his length wrong, and it was slot and powered by Gayle.
It's quite a remarkable 6, that really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like he didn't think he had enough there to get it over the boundary.
Slower ball, Gayle flummoxed by it. It's come right off the toe end of the bat, taken by Rishabh Patel, so there's 2 sub-fielders on, well bowled by Chris Woakes. I think the off-cutter deceived Gayle and had him reaching and dragging a ball from outside off stump. The toe end of the bat settles in the hands of Rishabh Patel, and Chris Gayle is gone for 11 off 9, not quite what they were hoping for. And Chris Woakes has his first wicket. This should herald the arrival of Nicholas Pooran.
Yeah, Gayle trying to move things on there.
Staggered if it's anybody else.
PK is also the shorthand for a rather rude Afrikaans phrase, tells Chris TB tells us. So
Is it?
Good job they don't use it in all.
Is it? I'm not sure anybody knew that, to be honest.
That's why we're not in charge of abbreviations.
Anyway, it is Trinidadian replacing Jamaican.
If we could keep a batsman or your kind of thing, let me introduce Nicholas to Pooran. Nick Pooran often plays as a batsman. Nick Pooran. Nick Pooran made 143 in the under-19s. Nick Pooran.
Might need to update that. He's done plenty of work in senior cricket, has Nicholas Pooran. As Woakes is in through Deepak Hooda, good delivery, back of a length. Hooda trying to back away, but Woakes followed him, and Hooda can only take a single. Nicholas Pooran, slightly oddly, looking for his first run of the tournament in the third game. I love watching Nicholas Pooran when he's on form.
Sometimes I'd like to see our jinglers make their jingles, and that's definitely one of them. I'd love to see that being recorded, especially the end part when you just lose
it's an
it.
oasis of calm.
It didn't sound like it on that one.
Nah. Can all be a bit deceptive.
Nicholas Pooran with an arse finally honed by many years of wicket keeping. Lovely curve to it. takes up strike.
Steady.
To Chris Woakes. Full outside off stump and driven handsomely by Pooran, but all the way out to deep point. Rahane does the fielding. And yes, Nicholas Pooran does have a run at the third time of asking. Good slower ball again from Woakes. He's bowled well in this over, if we discount the rather hard to discount free hit that went for 6. 160 for 3, the Punjab Kings. 2 balls left to the 17th over.
They didn't bowl particularly well in the first 10 overs, but they've done considerably better in the second half so far.
Yeah, indeed. Hooda backing away another cutter from Chris Woakes, and Hooda only pushes a single into the offside. I suppose he's 12 off 6, so that's fine. Better over from Chris Woakes. I mean, it was kind of the theme for them last year, is that they were brilliant at the death, but weren't as good in the power play. Unrech Norkir being the honourable exception. He will make a big difference to this team when he is able to come back into it. I mean, you could, in theory, have Woakes, Rabada, and Norkir all playing in a very overseas-heavy bowling lineup because of Delhi's very good Indian batting. This is driven very pleasantly by Nicholas Pooran down on bended knee, fielded though by Ashwin, collapsing on it at cover, and they come through for a single. 12 runs off the over, but the wicket of Chris Gayle, and with 3 overs left, the Punjab Kings are 162 for 3.
Warren is wondering whether boat on the PBKS helmets is advertising or a braggadocious statement. I think it's unfortunately it's advertising. It's not best of all time, which would be a bit much, wouldn't it?
An unfortunate derivation, isn't it?
Bit of love for Jersey Jingler's jingle, which is Joni Mitchell, and he comes back and says that Joni is one of his personal musical gods. So it's all good fun in the Twitter sphere world with jinglers.
You could have many worse inspirations and idols than Joni Mitchell, one of the all-time greats.
Indeed.
It's going to be Rabada bowling the 18th. He's into Nicholas Pooran, full outside off stump, and driven again by Nicholas Pooran, who will come back for 2. No, he won't. Shikhar Dhawan gets the throw away quickly. So Nicholas Pooran has scored 3 runs in the IPL, all through cover.
I saw Joni Mitchell back in the 80s, late 80s, and she had a sneezing fit. And the sneezing fit during was kind of mid-song and then turned into a giggling fit, and the whole place was just in tears at this, and it went on for about 10 minutes, this thing. It was brilliant, but no, she's fantastic. But it was quite funny to see this legend, as it was, just completely lose it.
Yeah, if you've got to sneeze, you've got to sneeze.
Yeah.
Only one man up in the circle on the onside, and he's at short fine leg. The leg side boundary very heavily protected. Rabada bowling the slower ball into the pitch this time. I think they've sussed out, though, there's a little bit of assistance and a little bit of stoppage with those slower balls hard into the wicket. Hooda can only push a single out to deep cover. 164 for 3. Seeing on screen, as I was talking about earlier, that Rabada does take the vast majority of his wickets in the death overs. Last year only took 2 power play wickets in the entire tournament and took 14 games to get his first. This is a full delivery. Pooran tries to drive down the ground, but it's well stopped with an outstretched boot by Kagiso Rabada, and there is no run.
They're going to struggle to get to the 200 now, aren't they?
I don't think they're going to make it.
No, I don't.
No, 164 for 3 with 2.5 overs left, so 36 needed off 15 balls. Not impossible.
Someone's going to have to go a bit mental,
yeah.
aren't they?
Pooran's got to go Pooran. Everyone on the boundary is in front of square. Everyone basically does the arc from square leg round to cover, who are in front of square. That's hammered by Nicholas Pooran. It was short, not all that short, and Pooran on the front foot picked up the slower ball very quickly and smashed it away, nearly carried the distance. 1 bounce 4 through wide mid-wicket. Fabulous shot.
He heard me.
Such a powerful player of that shot is Nicholas Pooran, and he did well to read the slower ball from Kagiso Rabada. That one didn't sticking the wicket as much. A fabulous death hitter, Nicholas Pooran goes for the Yorker, does Rabada, misses it long, but as we were saying, that can sometimes not be a bad thing, and it's just pushed down the ground to Lalit Yadav at long on, and they come through for a single. 169 for 3, 1 ball left of the 18th over.
It's been better from Rabada in these in this over. I mean, the 4 was a lovely placed, a bit of controlled aggression rather than all-out flailing.
Yeah, and it was, a legitimate tactic that didn't work. As Rabada's into Deepak Hooda, who carts this away into the offside. I think that might have been another slower ball because it didn't quite seem to get to Deepak Hooda. He just pushes it out for a single to deep cover, and he'll keep the strike. He's on 14 off 8. Nicholas Pooran with that 4 is 8 off 6. Rabada is done, 1 for 43 off his 4. He'll have better days. 8 runs off his last over, though. Not bad at this stage of the innings with such a total on the board. 2 overs left. Punjab Kings 170 for 3.
Warren wonders if wicketkeeper arse is better than fast bowler arse.
Well, wicketkeepers squat a lot, so they get a lot of work out, those glutes.
Jersey Oak says, is Gary doing any matches? I want to hear his new jingle. We can play that at some point, I'm sure. And Leia's got workshopping an idea for a Cody jingle based on title Angry Again by Megadeth.
Very good. It is going to be Avesh Khan bowling the 19th. Short fine leg, short third man, backward point and cover up in the circle. Everyone else back. Avesh is in, goes full outside off stump to Deepak Hooda, who's been quiet after that fabulous 6 first balls. Guides a single out to Marcus Stoinis at deep point. They come through for a single off the bowling of this man.
Hello my baby, hello my honey, hello Avesh Khan. Pull on the stumps please, pull us a maiden please.
This is starting to be very reminiscent of the Punjab innings we saw last year, which was very good at the top of the order and then a dramatic wilting away in the middle and lower order.
It was the general tone of every
not enough runs.
It was the general tone of every Punjab innings last year, pretty much. A little bit less so today. I mean, they should still get a very decent score on the board. Avesh in, full outside off stump. Pooran went deep in his crease and wide of off stump, trying to access that leg side. Avesh followed him outside off stump, well bowled, even though it was a full toss. It was a full toss bowled to the field. Pooran thrashes it out to Rahane at deep point. I'm not quite sure who's off the field. Maybe I think Prithvi Shaw is off the field, and somebody else might be as well.
If Shaw is off the field, that's going to be an issue with him opening the innings?
Well, he'll be allowed to because it's an impact injury, but obviously it depends how bruised or whatever the finger is. I'm sure he will open. As Avesh is into Deepak Hooda, goes for the Yorker outside off stump and misses his length, and Hooda deep in the crease, very powerful over the offside, deep in the crease, and hammers it with just a check drive really over extra cover for 6. Deepak Hooda, 21 off 10 balls.
That was extraordinary.
It's an absolute textbook example of the evolution of the technique for this sort of late over hitting, of how he got so low, how he's managed to get the bat up and under the ball.
Yep. Goes deep in the crease again and outside off stump, so much so that the back foot is actually outside and behind off stump. Has a big swing at this over the leg side. Half an appeal from Avesh Khan. Rishabh Pant is not interested in the review because it was too... Oh no, yes, he is interested in the review. I thought that was too high and outside off stump, and I suspect I'm right, but Rishabh Pant decides to go for the review anyway. I suppose why the hell not?
I don't want to say you're right, but you're not wrong.
That was definitely out. Was that definitely out?
No. Rishabh Pant is walking back to his wicket-keeping mark. He's missed it, but it's hit him probably outside
the line of off stump.
I think it's hit him outside off stump, and it's certainly too high.
Yeah, but apart from that, it's fine.
The more relevant thing to all of this is that it was a dot ball. Good delivery as well by Avesh Khan. A slower ball, which Hooda was through the shot he attempted off of very, very early indeed. And we'll just go through the formalities. Umpire's call on impact. Umpire's call on the top of the stumps. Still, was never likely to be out. But
that is very surprising considering where it hit him.
Yep. Suppose why not? Review retained. And as I say, the more material thing is that it was a dot ball, and in fact, it might have been a leg by. It was a leg by, in fact. And Pooran is out next ball. He went outside off stump. He probably went a little bit too early. Gave Avesh time to see him coming, who bowled full outside off stump, and Pooran can only steer it into the hands of Kagiso Rabada, very good fielder at deep point. This is a very good over from Avesh Khan, a very good spell from Avesh Khan, apart from that brilliant 6 that Hooda hit off him a couple of balls ago. Simple catch for Kagiso Rabada, who takes it sort of like a rugby fullback. Jumping. Pooran has gone for 9 off 8. He's not really got into the tournament yet, and the Punjab Kings are 179 for 4. Very good bowling indeed by Avesh Khan.
I thought Shikhar Dhawan had to take all the catches. That was very strange. Right, who's coming in next?
It's going to be Shahrukh Khan, who was the one point of light in their dismal collapse against the Chennai Super Kings. Shahrukh Khan, a good addition to the no not that one 11 that you could make from this year's IPL. He has a massive swing at this slower ball outside off stump, nearly swings himself off his feet, and the ball nearly knocks Rishabh Pant off his end result. There is no run. Very good day at the office for Avesh Khan, particularly in the context of this match. He finishes with 4 overs, 1 for 33, only 9 runs off the over, including a leg by. And going into the last over, the Punjab Kings are 179 for 4. Let me jingle up Shahrukh Khan, not that one.
Shahrukh Khan gonna bowl you cause I feel for you, yeah, 6'4", built like a fridge. Ain't after an after, what you gonna do? Nice skip his pick because he feels for you.
Shahrukh Khan, very good.
Well, couldn't we get Shaka Khan to do the jingle for Shahrukh Khan?
That would be a great use of $400 we don't have.
Oh dear. 0-120 after 12 overs to the current score is probably 21 short of what they would have been hoping for, says Farong, sorry. True, I'm not disappointed with Pooran, says Lalit. It's his best innings of the season after all.
Yeah, indeed, although you could argue 9 off 8 at this stage of the innings is actually worse than a golden duck. But at least he did get out trying to hit a boundary, so can't be overly critical. Chris Woakes started poorly, but has done well in the second and third spells. 1 for 26 off 3. He's outside off stump to Shahrukh Khan, who punches this very powerfully. He had a very good domestic season, did Shahrukh Khan, and has shown glimpses of his power in the tournament thus far. And he smashes his first ball through backward point for 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Good shot.
To say that he's put all of his body into that is a mild understatement. He's waited for it, and then not only has he cut the ball, but he's also thrown himself forward at the same time and just about managed to stay in his shoes. But a great shot.
In comes Chris Woakes to Shahrukh Khan. A slower ball into the wicket, and Shahrukh Khan drives to cover, and they'll come through. They won't come through for a single. Suppose they thought they wouldn't make it, rather than Shahrukh Khan turning down singles to try and stay on strike and protect the Deepak Hooda, who's on 21 off 12.
He's really deep in his crease.
Yeah,
he's really deep in his crease. So that ball went straight to the fielder. He's just got no time. By the time that he's managed to get himself up and going, the single isn't there from where he's standing.
Yes, if anything for me, Clive, he hit that too well. Full outside off stump. Would have been a wider shot. Shahrukh had left it, but Shahrukh's not in the leaving mood. He has a swing at it and he gets enough of an edge on it to take it past Rishabh Pant for a second 4.
1, 2 ka 4, 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Shahrukh Khan 8 off 3, 187 for 4 with 3 balls left. 200 might be on. Good noise is all. Woakes in. What a shot that is from Shahrukh Khan. Yes, it was length, but he made it into much lengthier delivery by going again deep in the crease, and he's absolutely hammered that. Still rising as it cleared the rope, still rising as it thumped into the stands. 6 runs. Shahrukh Khan is doing exactly what he was bought for. 14 off 4, 193 for 4.
He's a thriller minute, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot of fun. Lot of fun to watch.
He's got a shot for every ball, this fella.
Every
Edgar bird.
Proper finisher, Shahrukh Khan. We're looking at how small or relatively small the boundaries are. Really didn't matter when you hit the ball that well.
Yeah.
As Woakes is in, what did he come back with? Slow ball outside off stump, well bowled. He's bowled an array of good cutters today. Shahrukh Khan bottom edges into his foot, and they run through, or in his case, limp through for a single. Hooda on strike, who's also given some impetus to this innings after Rahul timed his acceleration too late, and Chris Gayle and Nicholas Pooran weren't able to get going. 194 for 4.
Oh, just one big one needed.
Long leg is back, deep mid wicket is back, long on, long off, and deep point
is it
back.
Nestler, is it going to be a big one?
It's 6.
Quickly, Kevin, will he hit it for 6?
I'll take the under.
In comes Woakes to Deepak Hooda. It's very wide outside off stump. Hooda probably could have left that and it would have gone for a wide, but again, leaving's not the preferred option for anyone at this stage of the innings. Slow ball outside off stump. Toe end, Rishabh Pant manages to dive and save 3 runs. They come through for a single. 16 runs off the last over. Punjab Kings fall short of the 200 and 195 for 4 from where they were. I mean, it's a good score. 195, given that they were 122 for none after 12.4 overs. I don't think Delhi will be overly disappointed with that.
I think Punjab are, like Farong said, maybe 20 runs short of what they should have been.
20 runs out of where they should / could have been, rather than 20 runs short of a par score.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
It's above par.
Oh, it's above par. It's a decent score.
But it's not. It's not. Oh God, we've got to chase this. It's within range for if Delhi bat well, we could be on for another IPL cracker.
Yeah, it's because they've managed to bring the score back. That momentum could well manifest itself into what the power play looks like.
I'm not even sure it's about momentum per se. I mean, yes, it's nice to finish the innings strong, but just in terms of sheer runs and 196 to chase is a lot, but it's you think, right, if we bat well against a team who, let's be honest, have struggled with the ball in the last couple of seasons and are still really looking for a death bowlers combination. They haven't got a lot out of Jhye, Richardson and Riley Meredith. Arshdeep has been excellent. Mohammed Shami's not a great death bowler. They, against a middling bowling team, you think it's on rather than 230 or whatever as it might have been. Mayank Agarwal, the star, with 69 off 36 balls. Fabulous innings, 7 4s and 4 6s in that. Rahul a little bit stodgier, really, certainly in the middle phase of his innings. Started well and picked it up again at the end as well. 61 off 51 for him. Not much to shout about from Chris Gayle or Nicholas Pooran, a 6 and a 4 respectively before holding out for 11 off 9 and 9 off 8. But Deepak Hooda again giving late acceleration, 22 off 13. And Shahrukh Khan, a great deal of fun as he was the other day. 15 not out off 5 balls, which let's be honest, could be important for the Delhi Capitals. Pick of the bowlers, probably, even though he didn't get a wicket, was Ashwin, 4 overs, number 28. Avesh Khan, excellent again, 4 overs, 1 for 33. But every other bowler going over 10 runs and over. Lalit Yadav only in his 1 over, admittedly. Chris Woakes and Lukman Meriwala took some tap at the start of the innings, but finished strong to finish with 1 for 42 and 1 for 32, respectively. And Kagiso Rabada was smashed to all parts in 1 over, but again came back strongly, 4 overs, 1 for 43. So the Delhi Capitals will need 196 to win their second game of this year's tournament. And we'll go to the rest of that interview that I did with Max Rushton, sponsor of our pals at Woodstock, who are an excellent company for all of your cricket bat and various other equipment needs, if you go to Woodstock's website, you go to woodstockcricket.co.uk. Let me get the URL right, that would be helpful.
Bit of a
The right-hander is coming into bat at number 11.
That's racing to the fence.
Wait! Yes! Wait!
Yep. Oh, great shot.
Wait!
The batsmen have been kept relatively quiet here. Another good over comes to an end.
Yes.
They take a single.
Yep. Bowler.
Nice fielding there. Good return.
Waiting. Waiting.
They need to be careful not to go after the wrong ball here. These dots are building the pressure.
Wait there.
Good bowling in that over.
This bowler knows how to give the ball an almighty tweak. Let's see how they go.
Yep. Bowler. Wait there. Yep.
Two runs added.
Yep. Keeper.
Big throw there, and it's on target.
Oh, great shot.
Sharma, the right-arm medium bowler, is coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
Wait. Yep.
Nice shot, 4 runs. Got that one away nicely.
Yes.
One more to the score.
Yep. Wait on. Yes.
Oh, very nice there from Dhawan.
Well, some very good fielding has created a chance out of nowhere. Great work.
Delhi have now been set a target of 143 runs. Punjab have probably fallen a bit short of par. They'll need to bowl well here. The right armour is coming into the attack from the nursery end.
Tries to drive that, but missed times.
Five runs added there. The right arm fast bowler is coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
He's beaten all ends up by that.
Yeah.
Off the mark there. Good shot.
Yes.
Got a lot on that one. One bounce and it goes for 4.
Yep. Yes.
That's 4 all the way.
Yes. Catch.
Huge shot. That's headed for 6. That's really putting the pressure on.
Yes. Yep. Catch.
And that's 4. What a delivery. Finds the edge.
Yeah!
Big appeal. Big wicket there, but probably not going to halt the momentum.
He's on his way back to the pavilion after putting in a really good innings.
The new batsman will be down at the non-striker's end. The right-arm pace bowler is coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
Yeah.
This is really good, precise bowling. Another dot ball.
Yep.
Nothing the batsman could have done better. Great ball. The keeper with the take.
Just called wide there.
Yeah.
Perfection. What a brilliant shot.
Waiting.
That's quite a good over.
3 extra fielders are now allowed outside the circle.
big scalp and got them out cheaply.
What a delivery. Draws the edge.
And through for one.
Yeah.
That's four. Superb shot.
Yep.
Absolutely middled that.
Waiting.
Wasn't the tidiest of overs, but got the wicket they needed.
Wait there. Yep.
And they get through for one.
Yeah.
Misread that one. Couldn't get the drive away.
Yes.
Oh, picks that one nicely. Good shot. This bowler really can get these spinning a long way. Let's see how they go.
Yeah.
Couldn't have played that any better.
Wait on. Wait. Yep.
He's found the gap, and that's 4. I'd love to see that one from the stump cam.
Waiting.
Milan, the spinner coming into the attack.
Yes.
And through for 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
On target with that throw, despite the distance.
Yes.
Timed that absolutely perfectly. Well played.
Waiting.
What a delivery. Draws the edge. Ends that over.
Wait.
The batsman will want to get the strike turning over. Oh, superb timing.
Yeah.
And that's 4. Just missing leg stump. End of the over.
Waiting. Yep.
Good shot.
Yes.
Nice save there.
Yeah, yeah.
$50 up for the two in the middle here. Good partnership forming.
Wait.
It's a shame to miss out on 50, but this has been a good performance regardless.
The batsmen making their way back to the pavilion. Bowled for 41.
The new batsman will be down at the non-striker's end. The right-arm medium bowler is coming on to bowl from the nursery end.
Yes. Keeper's end.
Stoinis is the new batsman.
Yep.
Good work in the field there.
Yep.
Off the bat and over the rope.
We're there. Nice bowling.
Not too bad from either side there.
Wait there. Waiting.
This is really good, precise bowling. Another dot ball.
Wait there.
Good bowling here. The dots are really putting the pressure on.
Yes, yes.
That's four. Superb shot.
Yep.
Whoa, great shot.
Yes.
kept it fairly tight in that over.
This bowler really can get these spinning a long way. Let's see how they go.
Wait. Yes, yes.
Catch! It's in the air.
Right there. Yep.
Catch it!
The bowler's being punished out there, and I don't know what else he can try.
Wait.
Bit expensive in that one. The right armour is coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
Yes.
He'll get two for that. Great shot.
Yes.
Yes.
And that gets to the boundary. 4 runs.
Yes.
Oh, picks that one nicely. Good shot.
That's all we've got for you now. Hope you join us again soon.